Hi everyone. As some of you might know, I am busy with a series on rebuilding the gates of Nehemiah. And while I was busy looking at the different gates and what the Lord wanted to show me, on day 5, we got to the sheep gate, which was about Jesus as the high priest and the only way, and also as the lamb, because the sheep gate was used for the lambs to all the sacrificial lambs and sheep were taken through the sheep gate. Then, before they were taken for sacrifice to the temple through the sheep gate, they were washed in the pool of Bethesda, which was close to the sheep gate. And as I was reading all of this, I contemplated on the goodness of God and how He wants to help us. But this morning, early, I woke up and I was speaking to the Lord, and some dots connected in my spirit that I knew in my head, but somehow I didn't really understand it. And I just thought about the fact, what came up in my mind at that moment while I was lying in bed was that the Lord asked the man, "Do you want to be made well?" And the man he was lame, he couldn't put himself in the water, but Jesus didn't expect him to. Jesus only asked him whether he wanted to be made well. I want to read you this piece of scripture. We find it in John 5, and it says from verse 1, after this, there was a feast of Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches, which speaks of grace. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" Then the sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." And Jesus said to him, "Rise up, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. Um, what I want to say to you today is this. You might have struggled with something for many, many, many years. You might have tried and failed many times. Whatever it might be that you need saving from, that you need redemption from, that you want to change, I want to tell you that Jesus gives you the choice. He doesn't say, put yourself in the water. Because you see, many times we know we can't help ourselves, but we think at least we're expected to put ourselves in the water, then we can be healed. Jesus doesn't say get in the water. He says, do you want to be made well? And when you say yes, He does the healing. It's all on Him. We can't even do that. We are so, so dependent on Him. And when I realized that this morning, the verse that came to mind was a verse that I want to read to you, and it speaks of God resisting the proud. It says in James 4 verse 6, He gives more grace. Therefore He says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. The humble are those that know they cannot save themselves. They cannot even get into the pool. They need Jesus. They need His grace. Today, whatever it is that you need saving from, whatever it is that must be reconciled back to God, whatever challenge you face, and whatever impossibility stands before you, in the places where you feel lame and weak, I want to tell you today, Jesus is asking you, do you want to be made well? And when you say yes, He will come and He will heal you. And living waters will burst from your belly, and you will become that man who stood up and walked. I hope that this blesses you and that it gives you hope. Much love.